Commander's log. Dawn over the cliff road. The first thing I see is the cage hanging above the rocks, swaying in the morning wind. Inside a Githyanki warrior, armor cracked, skin bruised, eyes sharp as a drawn blade. She has given us no name, only orders hurled through the bars, as if we are her soldiers, not her rescuers. Yet I recognize the fever in her stare, the way she fights the panic behind her teeth. She carries the same parasite we do, the same crawling shadow, the same ticking clock. Last night Withers asked me what a mortal life is worth, and I answered infinite. Now I stand beneath this cage, deciding what her life is worth in practice, cutting her down to join us, or leaving the fall to make the choice. Before I speak to the horned strangers weighing the prisoner's fate, I want steel in the shadows. Asterion, take the ridge to our left. Find high ground with a clean line on both of them. Bow strung but low. If this turns ugly, I want you on their flank, not in their face. I will approach alone, open hands and calm voice, but they will never know you are drawing a bead on their hearts. Asterion, move now. Left side ridge. Best vantage you can find. If they reach for steel, you loose on my mark.
You think it's dangerous?
Of course it's dangerous. One of them carved up Goron's whole squad.
So let's leave it.
And let the goblins have it? No. We take it to the group.
Just leave it.
And when the goblins ally with it,
We'll be on the road to Baldur's Gate.
don't be naive. When this thing strikes, there will be no soldiers to protect you. This isn't Altorel. Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad and twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
Friends, this creature is dangerous. Get out of here. Leave it to me.
Demaze, let's
No. I'm not leaving this fiend with a stranger.
kill them.
Okay, if you're not going to leave it with me, then at least shoot the trap down. We must kill it before it harms someone.
He's right. No one's safe if that thing goes loose. Not even us.
Damaze?
Enough. Lower the trap. Ready your blade.
You've but one chance. Join me or die.
I managed to talk the horned strangers into lowering the cage. Part of me had hoped they would simply walk away and leave the choice to us.
No!
You lying rat!
The opening is there, my great club itching for the horned skull in front of me. One swing and he is finished, but his partner still has that clean line to my head, and I can still feel the last arrow burning. Reckless charges get commanders killed, so I shift tactics. I pull the scroll from my belt, parchment stiff and warm as if it remembers the fire trapped inside. I've never been certain whether it is the ink that holds the spell or the voice that frees it, but as I unfurl it and trace the glyphs with my thumb, the air around my hand begins to tremble. I speak the words once, low and sharp. Flame answers. A fan of fire roars from my fingers and slams into the nearest horned warrior, leather blackening, skin blistering as he staggers back screaming. Not the clean crack of a great club on bone, but enough to remind them that closing with me is a mistake.
Take you.
Shadowheart. She never ceases to amaze me. Without hesitation, she pushes past Doubt and drives her strike into the horned warrior's flank. The hit lands deep, steel biting through leather and bone, leaving him staggering on the edge of collapse. There is a fire in her spirit that burns hotter than any scroll I could cast, fierce and unwavering in the chaos of this roadside skirmish.
Take you.
The Gith warrior does not hesitate. Her blade finds the horned man's throat and he falls before I can even draw another breath. Only one remains now, the horned woman, wounded and cornered between rocks and steel. Every instinct in me says to let her live, to find a way to turn a killing blow into mercy. My thoughts run through every form and stance I was ever taught. Cuts to maim, strikes to stagger, ways to end a fight without ending a life. But here on this roadside, I realize how little I truly understand that art. I will need to study my field notes again. Learn how to pull a strike short of the killing edge. If there are captains or scholars who know how to spare a beaten foe without losing the field, their wisdom would be welcome in my log. For now, I fear the choice may not be mine at all. Between the Gith, Shadowheart, and Asterion, mercy may not live long enough to be an option.
Take shooting.
Shadowheart hesitates. In any other fight, she would already be moving. Shield up. Spear thrusting for the final blow. Now she stands still, eyes on the horned woman, then on me, searching. It is as if she can feel the pull in my thoughts, the part of me that wants this enemy to leave this road alive. She said she would trust my judgment, and for the first time I wonder if that trust runs deeper than words. I need to end this. Even if I spare her, there is no promise that Gith or Asterion will do the same.
The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
I understand Shadowheart's concern. I truly do. But I've already fought beside this Gith warrior, blade to blade against mind flayers and worse. And what exactly is a creche?
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter.
Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a gay tadpole, we must report to Augusto for purification.
The Gith warrior speaks with the certainty of a seasoned hunter. She claims her people can burn this parasite from our skulls. Harsh tongue, sharper blade, but the same purpose as mine. All right, we journey together. Let's find this creche.
You have made an ally from Creche Kalir. Few know such fortune. Call me Lae'zel.
I'll trust your judgment, but I won't trust her. Not until I've gotten the measure of her.
You've a sharp tongue, elf. Would that your mind proved its equal.
Half elf. I suppose the finer details are lost on a creature like you.
Come. The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. We will ask this Zoru where he has seen my kin.
Shadowheart does not hide her disapproval. She reminds me that trusting my judgment is not the same as trusting Lae'zel. Until she can take the measure of this Gith warrior for herself, she will keep her guard high and her hand close to her spear. I cannot blame her. It falls to me to hold this line between them. For her part, Lae'zel has earned a field promotion. I have seen her fight on the Nautiloid and on this road. Brutal, yet disciplined. Every strike carved for the kill. I review her training, sharpen her strengths, hone her for the battles ahead. When we march from this cliffside, she will be deadlier than before, and our chances at finding a cure will be stronger for it. Alright, time to see what the Fallen carried into this fight. The Horned Man bears nothing remarkable. Worn armor, a simple bow and sword, tools of a roadside hunter or hired blade. No hidden orders, no tokens of dark gods. We take only what will keep us alive on the road ahead, and leave the rest to the crows. The Horned Woman carries no more than her fallen companion. Worn steel, tired leather, nothing that changes the story of this road. We take what we can use and leave the rest to the crows. I open the map, tracing our path from shattered shoreline to these blood-stained cliffs. To the north, the Emerald Grove environs stand out like a promise of shelter and answers. That is our next heading.
I am enjoying the latest addition to our little group. Lae'zel is delightful. In a very look at me twice and I'll dismember you kind of way, of course.
Asterion cuts in before I can give the order. That familiar amused edge in his voice as he mentions our new addition, the Gith Warrior. He enjoys the drama, but there is a warning under the joke. I answer him plainly. She fought beside me on the Nautiloid before we ever crossed his path. She believes her people can burn this parasite out of our skulls. Until that hope dies, she is one of us.
I can keep going a little longer now.
Asterion, you take point. Lead us toward the grove and keep your eyes open. Asterion slows his pace, boots scuffing against a fresh rise of earth. Dirt mound ahead, shovel half buried beside it. No marker, no stones, just a hurried grave or a secret someone wanted close to the road and quickly forgotten. The dig pays off. Beneath the mound, we find a small hoard, a decent weight of coin, and 2 vials of deep green dye. According to the notes tucked beside them, the dye can sink into cloth, leather, even metal, shifting the color to match its shade. Useful. Gold for the road and a way to change our colors if we need to blend or send a different message. Chatter ahead, voices sharp with anger carrying through the trees. We push forward and the road bends to reveal 2 figures at a heavy gate, its surface swallowed by thick green vines. They shout at whoever stands behind that door. Camp or fortress, I cannot yet tell.
Open the bloody gate!
Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders!
That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now!
You let goblins here? Where is the druid?
Please! There's no time!
By the 9 hells! Open the gate! Cannon! No!
Shit! Form a line!
Damnable roach! Provoke the blade! And suffer its sting.
The choice comes quickly. 3 strangers at the gate, blades out, outnumbered by the beasts circling them. Whatever waits behind those vines, these 3 are the only thing holding the line. We move to support, steel and spell into the fray. Until we find a cure for this parasite, we cannot afford to watch potential allies die in the road in front of us. Goblin spellcaster on the ridge just changed the field. Grease erupts beneath our boots, and in the next heartbeat it blossoms into fire. We are down and burning. This ground is death. All units, pull back now. Crawl, roll, scramble out of the flames, whatever it takes. Reach solid earth. Douse the fire. Then we turn and make that goblin regret ever lifting its hands against us. Asterion screams through the smoke. Then the sound cuts short. Fire rolls over his position again, and when it clears, he is down, motionless in the flames. I feel the pull to run to him, but the distance is too great and the fire too high. One step too far and I fall beside him. And through the roar of the flames, I hear a sharp gasp, then coughing. Asterion rises from the fire, cloak smoking, skin blistered yet somehow whole again. Someone on the field reached him before the blaze could finish its work, a burst of healing that dragged him back from the edge. My strength is slipping fast. Every breath feels heavier than the last. I should stay in the rear and let the others carry this fight, but I cannot. My companions are locked in the thick of it, and that tracker goblin on the rise is cutting us to pieces from above. I have no healing spells, no spare potions to pull me back if I fall. Every step forward is a gamble with my own life. But a commander who hides while his people bleed is no commander at all. I will move to support them, crossbow ready, eyes on that tracker, careful steps, measured risks, but I go in. Another arrow finds me. The tracker's mark true again. Pain blooms hot in my side, breath tearing in and out like broken glass. My vision narrows, edges darkening. I am almost finished and I have nothing left to pull myself back. No spell, no potion. I need a miracle now, a savior on this burning road. And there she is, Shadowheart. Light rips from her hand in a spear of radiance. Slamming into the goblin tracker on the ridge, the creature is torn from its perch, armor scorched, body broken, threat ended in a single blinding strike. One more arrow and I would have been a corpse on this road. Instead, she buys me my life back with that bolt. I owe Shadowheart more than words can cover. Time to stand again. Shadowheart holds the ridge, and I will not leave her alone up here. Move to her side and reach for the elixir of hill giant strength at my belt. The stopper comes free, and a stench like rotting nails and wet fur claws at my throat. Brewed from some giant's filthy claw, if the stories are true. It takes all my will not to gag as I force it down, foul and heavy as mud. But I can feel it take hold almost at once. Asterion strikes again from the dark. Another clean kill from behind. First the goblin, now the bugbear crumples under his blade. Lae'zel does not waste the strength we lent her. She surges up from behind the goblin leader, blade carving into his exposed flank. The boss staggers, blood pouring, just a breath from the end. He is the last one standing now, the goblin they called Zakrog. When he falls, this battle ends with him.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
But what were the grubby little beasts after? This place doesn't look like much.
There must be more, wherever they came from.
Commander's log. The battle is finished and our unexpected allies have vanished behind their vine-covered gate. I pull the companions together and we search the fallen for anything that will keep us alive one day longer. I'm not ready to follow the horned folk inside. Not after we cut down 2 of their kind on the road behind us, and not in our current state. We are bleeding and spent, in no shape for whatever waits beyond that door. We withdraw for now. We rest, mend wounds, gather strength. If we return to that gate, it will be tomorrow, and we will be ready when we step through. At last we come to the goblin boss they called Zakrug. On his corpse we find a pair of gauntlets worked in dark leather and crude metal studs, humming with a faint, sickly warmth. The inside reeks of old blood and burnt incense, and along the cuffs I can see a twisted symbol pressed into the hide. Whoever this priestess Gut is, she has blessed these gloves for those who bear the Absolute's mark on their flesh. They promise a sure grip and quicker fingers, the kind of cutpurse or assassin would kill for. And there is something else woven into them, a spiteful charm that seems to drag and at enemy strength whenever the wearer strikes true. Dangerous relics of a faith I do not trust, but on this road even cursed tools can keep us alive a little longer. Commander's log. The grove will have to wait. My people need rest, and there is one new blade in our ranks I have barely spoken to. Lae'zel. She fought beside me on the Nautiloid and again on the road, but since cutting her from that cage we have traded more steel than words. Tonight, that changes.
Chatter already, Tusky.
Do you know much about Mind Flayers?
I understand much beyond your comprehension. More to the point, I know the cure for our condition. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to observe more and question less.
Do you know what happens if we don't find a cure?
Yes, in great detail. It starts with a fever and memory loss. Then you start to hallucinate. Your hair falls out, and you bleed from every orifice. Your bones will change form. Your jaw will split to allow room for 4 great tentacles. All skin will turn to gore and be shed to reveal new flesh underneath. Then you have ceased to exist, and a Mind Flayer is born.
That's not going to happen. We will find a cure.
Words forged in steel. May your actions express the same metal. We must find my kind and be rid of the parasite. It's as simple as that. The first symptoms should have long since started, though. That is what puzzles me.
You're worried we haven't changed? This is good news.
Yes, if you give it no further thought. But anomalies lead to surprises. Bad surprises. Besides, what hasn't happened may yet come to pass.
She speaks of the creche again, of purification, of how every moment spent on these roads is weakness and delay. In her eyes there's only one path worth walking, the one that leads to the cure her people promise. I understand her, more than she knows. We are both watching the same unseen countdown behind our eyes.
Lae'zel has a dangerous look in her eyes. Let's just hope she reserves those impulses for any common foes.
She does not hide her concern about the Gith warrior. She remembers the pod and the Nautiloid. How Lae'zel argued to leave her behind while I chose to free her. She has every right to be wary. I tell her I understand. Lae'zel fights for the cure, but that does not make her a friend. Not yet. I will keep my eyes on the Gith, and if she turns her spear on us, she will answer to me first. Your judgment still matters to me, Shadowheart. Stay close. Speak your doubts. And tonight join me at the fire. I'll be reading through the books we have gathered, and I would value your mind on the pages we find.
Fine.
Mysterion, Lae'zel, you are welcome at the reading tonight. I will be going through the books and notes we pulled from the road, seeing what sense can be made of the coast and the powers moving on it. It is not an order, but an invitation. If you care to know the ground we walk and the enemies we may face, take a place by the fire. If not, the choice is yours. I take the first volume from the pile. Leather cracked and brittle with age. The spine still carries a title, Book of Dead Gods. I open it and read aloud. Pages upon pages of forgotten divinities, names twisted and hard to speak, crammed together like a graveyard of ink. Near the end, the last few names have been savaged, scratched out so fiercely the parchment is almost cut through. Whoever kept this list did not just want those gods dead, they wanted them erased from memory itself. I look up from the page. Shadowheart listens in silence, fingers resting on her holy symbol. Lae'zel snorts at the notion of fragile human gods that can be hunted and killed. Asterion only smiles, as if the fall of gods is the most natural thing in the world. I close the book and feel its weight linger in my hands. If even gods can be struck from the world and forgotten, then so can the thing crawling behind our eyes. We just have to find the power willing to unmake it. Commander's Log. I let the other books rest for tonight. One is enough. My thoughts keep circling back to the Book of Dead Gods, to where I first found it. Lower level of the crypt. Stone coffins lined like soldiers. Dust thick as a shroud. Asterion tried to coax the lock open with his usual deft hands. But this was no common clasp. A metal band humming with a force could feel in my teeth. In the end, it was not his skill that broke it, but my own grasp of the sigils worked into the binding. Wisdom, not steel. And the book yielded to me alone. Magic clings to it still. In the weight of the pages, in the way the ink seems to sink too deep into the parchment. Names of dead gods filling every line. And at the end, 3 torn so violently from the page that only scars remain. I do not know what that means. Were they scratched away in hatred? Or because someone learned they were not dead at all? That they had slipped their graves and walked again? If gods can fall, and perhaps rise, then what are we to the thing inside our skulls? Hunters or offerings? For tonight I have no answer. I close the book, bank the fire, and let the questions follow me into uneasy sleep. Tomorrow the road and the parasite will be waiting.